I'm a nerd. 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 I'm a geek. 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 I'm a nerd. Nerd. I'm a nerd. Geek. 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 I'm a geek. Nerd. I'm a nerd. Nerd. I'm a nerd. Geek. 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 I'm a geek. Nerd. Get swag. Super hella geek.
What's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of Urban Nerd Weekly. Hey, how y'all doing, man? How y'all week been? Mine's been... let's not talk about that. But I'm definitely glad to be here back with you guys for episode 2 of Urban Nerd Weekly. Thanks to everybody that listened to the first episode. Thanks for everybody that subscribed. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I'm happy to be able to say that you can now subscribe in multiple ways. If you're one of my SoundCloud listeners and you have a SoundCloud profile, then go ahead and head over there and head to mine and hit that follow button. You feel me? If you just somebody who has an iPhone and you prefer to listen to podcasts that way, you can always listen to me on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or whatever they want to call themselves these days. You know, subscribe to me there the classic way. Google Play now lets you to subscribe to podcasts. So if you have an Android phone and you want to subscribe, you can also subscribe from Google Play. It's just the same way you look up music. Just look up Urban Nerd Weekly if you're having any trouble. I have a post on SpayceWasHere.com that just basically lets you instantly subscribe. So if you want to head over to SpayceWasHere.com, that's SpayceWasHere.com, and it should be the post that says subscribing to Urban Nerd Weekly, and there it gives you a link to subscribe on SoundCloud. You can listen on iTunes, Google Play Music, and I noticed a lot of people like to listen to the podcast on Stitcher, so I also provided a way for you to listen to it on there as well. And, you know, subscribing, you know, a lot of guys, you know, that, you know, create content or whatever, they constantly, you know, try to broadcast, hey, subscribe, so they get your numbers up and whatever, what have you. Personally, I just want you guys to subscribe because it's a really easy, hands-free way to, like, you know, indulge in, like, your favorite, you know, content providers on the internet. I mean, personally, when I really, really like somebody that makes a, you know, a good series or stream of content that I like subscribing because it keeps me from having to get on and constantly have to remember how to spell names and having to search and look for each video. Like, you know, I like to get on, and when I get on YouTube, I like to look at, the first thing I look at is what have all the people that I subscribe to have they dropped. Like, I do the same thing on SoundCloud. It's just easier that way. So, you know what I'm saying? If you really digging me, or you really digging the podcast, or, you know what I'm saying, you just somebody that has supported me in the past and you like the new things that I got going on, that I got coming, which I will be talking about later on in the show, go ahead and please subscribe. Always feel free to leave comments. Like I said, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, and Stitcher, and as well as anything else. Like, if you're an avid listener of podcasts and you already are a vet in the listening to the podcast game, then you probably already have like your own little preferred app or directory that you like to use. All you got to do is search Urban Nerd Weekly. Honestly, if you just happen to hear the show and you're looking for me later, just search Urban Nerd Weekly right in Google, and it'll usually be one of the first. It should be the first thing that pops up. So, like I said, and if all else fails, SpayceWasHere.com. You know, I got a YouTube page coming soon, and I know a lot of people like to actually listen to podcasts on YouTube. I've been hearing that a good bit lately, so the podcast will be available on YouTube as well, and all the links will be, you know, provided in the description of the show if need be, so you guys can, you know, be that much easier for you. But you know, that's all the promo junk, you know, all the stuff we gotta say to, you know, make sure you guys are engaging and whatnot, you know. Blah, blah, blah. Follow me on Twitter, Spayce Was Here. Instagram, Spayce Was Here. Facebook, Spayce Was Here. You know what I'm saying? my SoundCloud page is, well, this show has a SoundCloud, but I also have my own SoundCloud, and it's still, the URL is my old stage name, which is Nova Black. So, you know, you can always go to that from the show's SoundCloud page if you want. But you know, I think we can go ahead and get into the swing of things, right? So, one of the things that I talked about at the tail end of episode 1 was, like, you know, the big shift in the value in the stock exchange for the Bitcoin, you know. And I feel like, you know, this is a good thing that, you know, us nerds really need to dive into, because, you know, as you know, the currency is going further and further into the realm of being digital as time passes, and the Bitcoin seems to be what the projected future of digital currency is going to be based on. So I did a little, you know, I didn't do a super amount of digging, but I did a little, you know, trudging around on the Google. And, you know, I decided to hit the wiki page for Bitcoin. And I'm just going to go ahead and just read you guys, you know, what's basically on the first page and stuff. And then, you know, I'm going to get into a little bit more detail, because it's really becoming more and more interesting to me in the past couple of weeks, all the talks about Bitcoin, because it's been a really long time since there's been some new type of currency or talks about currency quite like the way that the Bitcoin is being talked about right now. So, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and just read you guys like the first little paragraph off the wiki page. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency and a worldwide payment system. It's the first digital currency, as the system works without a central bank or a single administrator. The network is peer-to-peer, and transactions take place between users directly through the use of cryptography. Now, cryptography is a Greek word that means hidden or secret, written. And, crypto definitely means hidden or secret. And ography, of course, is the study of, and so that is the study of a secret or hidden technique. Is the practice and study of techniques for secure communication in the presence of third parties called adversaries. More generally, cryptography is about constructing and analyzing protocols that prevent third parties or the public from reading private messages. Various aspects in information security, such as data confidentiality, data integrity, authentication, and non-repudiation are central to modern cryptography. Modern cryptography exists at the intersect of the disciplines of mathematics, computer science, electrical engineering, communication science, and physics. Applications of cryptography include blah, 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 commerce, chip-based payments, cards, digital currencies, computer passwords, and military communication. So basically, they use a hidden language or a secret language in order to disguise the transactions peer-to-peer without using like a central administrator or somebody who's just basically sitting there being the middleman. That's basically what they're saying. And the transactions are verified. The transactions are verified by the networks and recorded in an immutable public distribution ledger called the blockchain. Well, the transactions are verified by network nodes and recorded in an immutable public in an immutable public distributed ledger called a blockchain. Now, a node is either a redistribution point or a communication endpoint. Basically, the definition of a node depends on the network and protocol they refer to it. A physical network node is an active electronic device that is attached to a network and is capable of creating, receiving, or transmitting information over a communications channel. A passive distribution point, such as the distribution frame or a patch panel, is subsequently not a node. So, But that basically is saying, because I like to put shit in layman terms because everything, ain't always so easy to understand when they be using that complicated ass language and shit. But that basically just means it's a point of communication where something is relayed. It's basically like, imagine a metal pole stuck in the ground and you could throw a paper plane and it land there, and because it can read paper planes, it can send that paper plane only to the person that you intended to go to from that point. You see what I'm saying? So instead of having a middleman, you got basically a robot as your middleman. You get it? Cool. Now, when it's saying it's recorded it in an immutable public distributed ledger, that just means it's recorded in something that's accessible to the public and you can get it and you cannot change it. You know what I'm saying? It's like a public record that cannot be changed by anybody but can be seen by anybody. Now, a blockchain is basically a certain type of public ledger that records Bitcoin transactions. It's a novel solution that accomplishes this without any trusted central authority. Basically, it takes out you having to trust a guy with, your money and its value. Because, this is a lot of the whole Bitcoin talks is coming from the fact that people are, not happy with the centralized banking system. They don't like that there's a guy that just sits there and is in control over where the money's going, who's getting it, and what's being done with it. You work hard for your paycheck and you put your money in the bank only for them to decide, okay, we're going to take a good bit of your money and use it, and your money and your money and all your friends' money and their parents' money, your parents' money and their grandparents, your little nephew who just got his first job. We're going to take a bunch of all your money, help this dude who's already rich invest in something with his money and your money. Well, actually with our money, which is your money and not his money. So he doesn't really stand to lose anything. Isn't that incredible? Or at least he stands to lose a lot less. I ain't gonna say anything because that's somebody who is definitely, running business, doing business. You always taking some losses. But the blockchain, kind of helps, keep everything honest without having to have trust. The maintenance of the blockchain is performed by a network of communication nodes running Bitcoin software. Basically, the equation is transactions from payer X sends Y Bitcoins to payer Z. So me is X, the amount of Bitcoins I send you is Y, and you are Z. And they're broadcast to this network using readily available software applications. Network nerds. They're basically nerds that ain't people. They just sit there and do that one thing all day. Network nodes can validate transactions and add them to their copy of the ledger and then broadcast these ledger additions to their nodes. The blockchain is a distributed database to achieve independent verification of the chain of ownership of any and every Bitcoin amount. Each network node stores its own copy of the blockchain. Approximately 6 times an hour, a new group of accepted transactions, a block, quote unquote, is created, adding to the blockchain and quickly published to all nodes. This allows the Bitcoin I cannot talk today. This allows Bitcoin software to determine when a particular Bitcoin amount has been spent, which is necessary in order to prevent double spending in an environment without a central oversight. So basically what they're saying is it's a way of double checking itself so that people aren't able to game the software as easily as they want to, because since there's no guide there, that also takes away the human ability to be able to notice certain things that a node or, autonomous piece of programming can't notice because you can't, it's not actually intelligence. Even if it was artificial intelligence, which it's not, it's freeware, it still wouldn't have that human element.